Okay, welcome back. This is our next lesson. We're going to be looking at hyperlinks and anchors. In the last class, we were able to look at text formatting, how to format text in HTML, and the various heading tags that we have in HTML, the various ways we can format text in HTML. We looked at lists also in HTML. These were all part of the things that we looked at in the last class. So today's class, we're going to be looking at another subject matter, totally different. We're going to be looking at hyperlinks and anchors. Now, I always try to define this and say, for a web page is a place on the internet where a particular information is located. All together? Yeah. But nobody actually goes to the internet, goes to visit a web page per se. People always prefer to go to a website. So what is a website? A website can be defined as a collection of related web pages. Now, if you are related to someone, it means that there has to be a linkage. There has to be a linkage between you and that person. If, for instance, if you're related to your brother, you are linked by blood. You're related to your sister, you are linked by blood. Your parents, you are linked by blood. All of these are what examples. Okay. So now today we are going to be looking at how do we now. So for you to say a website is a collection of related web pages, there has to be a system, a way by which the web pages are linked together, so you can navigate from page to page in a website. Like many websites that you go to, let me just look for a very simple website. Let me just go to this particular website, for instance. Now, okay, this is a website. This is a complete website that is already live on the internet, and you can see each of these are web pages. Each and every one of these are web pages. All of these are web pages. So when you go to each one, and they are linked together here, and so it is now referred to as a website. That's why we say that a website can be defined as a collection. You can see this is a web page that gives you information about the company, what they do, and everything that concerns the company. And then if you still click there, you can see management team. This is also another part of the web. This is also another web page on the website. If you go here, you can see the different people who are in charge of most of the things in that place. Every page here, what I'm just trying to teach you here is that every page is a website. It's a web. Every website is a collection of related web pages. You can also see here. You see, you can also see that here, whereby this is also another web page again. This is a web page where they try to post, new positions, job vacancies, etc. They try to post them here. This for their privacy, but these are all of these places I'm going to are pages, but nobody will come and say I'm going to certifysystemsgroup.com/privacy-policy. That's not how people go to websites. Rather, people go to a website by going straight to the main website directly. So this is how most of us, and even myself, visits a website. So, and then you can navigate to the different pages of that website when you click on the different pages. What we have been building since our web pages, we have been building web pages all this while. Like what we did in the last class, that's an example of a web page. But now, what about a situation whereby you want to build a website, whereby you have a website, it's a website you are building, and you need more than one page? What do? That's where we make use of what we call hyperlinks and anchors. Hyperlinks and anchors are used for one purpose. And what is the purpose? They are used for linking web pages together, and also for linking web pages to external URLs if necessary. Okay, let's continue now. So we'll say defining hyperlinks. Hyperlinks connect separate web resources. Yes, they are generated using the anchor tag, the A tag, with the crucial destination attribute href, also referred to as hypertext reference. So the hyperlinks basically, we say hyperlinks connect separate web resources. These web resources could reside on the same page, okay, and the resources could reside on the same page, on the same server. They could reside with an external server, and there could also be a hyperlink that you are linking to a particular file, okay. You could also be linking to an external website. You could also be linking to an email address, whereby such a hyperlink, when clicked, will automatically launch the default mailing application on the user's computer, on the user's system, on the user's mobile device. And that's what it is. And now, for you to hyperlinks, we say we have for hyperlink to take place, you must use for you to use the make use of the href. What is the href? Hypertext reference. This is the location of the particular web resource which you are linking to, and it can be referred to in two ways. We have what we call the absolute part, and we have what we call the relative part. What is an absolute part? We say points to the exact full URL address on the internet, including the protocol. This is an example of an absolute part. You can see it here. This is a complete example of an absolute part. An absolute part when you are linking to this absolute part is only useful when you are linking to an external web resource, that is a different website. Like if I want to link if I have a particular link in my website, I want to link to Google, that is an example. That's when I can make use of a an absolute part. Maybe I want to link to, maybe I built a website for a group of companies, and each of the sub companies inside that company have separate websites already existing. And the group of company websites is just meant to serve as a landing page. Of course, that is also that is where you make use of absolute part. So you just link directly to the full URL, including the protocol. I don't want to go deep into the word protocol, but then protocol can simply be defined as the rules and regulations that guide communication on the internet. So, and for a website to be accessible, it must reside on either of these two protocols, HTTP or HTTPS. HTTP means Hypertext Transfer Protocol, and HTTPS means Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. So the Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure, it secures the access to the website, and Hypertext Transfer Protocol just it's the rules and regulations that guide access to a website that may not be secure. For a website to have HTTPS, you need to have what we call an SSL certificate. SSL is an acronym for Secure Socket Layer. So for an absolute URL, when you are linking to an absolute part, you have to have the full URL of that resource. This is usually used for linking to external resources. Then relative part, this points to a file relative to the location of the active document inside the current server directory. So when you are linking to a file on your own server, you make use of the relative part, not the absolute part this time, but the relative. And what is the relative part? The definitive part of where that particular file is located on your computer system. Now we have different type of hyperlink targets. We have local file link. This loads local documents, e.g. href. We're going to practice all of these things. href is equal to about.html. Then we have external link, direct users to external websites, best configured with target /blank to open the link in a new browser tab. Yes, when you link to external website, it's always a good idea that you cause another browser tab to be opened when it is linked. Okay, and we have the email link. This is used to launch default users email clients. And then we have local document section anchor. Bookmark targets a specific division of the same document. Like there are certain websites we refer to as a one-page website, whereby everything about the website is in one page, but then you link to various sections. As we progress, when we get to CSS, when we get to a particular level of CSS, we are going to be able to understand those kind of hyperlinks much more deeply. But for us to be able to have a proper hyperlink, we are going to have two pages. Now, like I told you, the first page of your website is what we refer to as index.html. So we're going to create another page. We're going to create another one because we want to link the two pages together. So we'll create another page, and we're going to call this page about.html. Okay, and we're going to save it in the same folder. We're still on B class 1. We're going to save it in the same folder that we saved the index.html that we produced in the last lesson. We're going to save it inside the same folder. So now we are going to copy this code. Like I said, my manual always follows my video tutorials, so I encourage you to also read the manual as much as you follow the video tutorial. Okay, then I'm going to link it here. We're going to link it here. Let's just put the link somewhere that it will be significant. Okay, let's just put it under this formatting demonstration. href equal to, okay, because they are in the very same folder. I have my index.html in the same folder as the about.html. I will say ahref is equal to about.html. If I had it in a subfolder, maybe I had a subfolder called pages, and that's where it is. What will be here will be pages/about.html. You just have to use the relative URL. That's exactly how it is. But because they are both in the same folder, because with this now, the index, when you click the link is going to take directly inside the same directory where it is. That's what we refer to as your working directory, and then I can just say okay, and target, yeah, let's just use target equal to slash blank. When you use target slash blank, it opens the link in a new tab of the browser. Now this is for the first part. Then you now have to say about us. This text is what will appear on the page. About us. This is what will appear on the page so that the user can click that link. It's always important that this text is very descriptive, that you use this to direct users to where they are going to go to so they can know what they are clicking. Okay, like the website that I showed you earlier, this website I showed you, see every single link that you see, each and every single link that you see in this website I told you is actually a clear link. Software development, you go there, all you will see are things, write-ups on software development, the various things that they do in software development. That's what you'll be seeing all through the stack they use and everything. So your link, the purpose of this text is that the importance of the text is that these texts themselves, they help you, they help the end user to be able to know what they are going to, what they expect if they follow that particular link, because links are actually made to be very significant, and like we'll soon be seeing in the one we just created, links are usually made to be very significant. So it helps the end user to know what they want to do. So you see, you can see the link. This link is very obvious. So when you click this link here, you see about us now, just click on about us. It opens in a new tab. And you can see that it shows you, as it opens in a new tab, it's taking you to a relative file in a local file in the SAM directory. You see, when you click this link now, it takes you back to the SAM about us. Okay, yeah, this is a link that demonstrates going to an external website. If you click this place now, it goes straight to an external website. Okay, if you click this one, okay, if you click this, it's going to launch the default email application on your device. If you click it on your phone, you can see it's asking me to launch my Outlook, but for now I don't want to do anything with it. Then if you click this now, this is jumping to a particular section of the document. This just jumps down, and if you click here back to top, it takes you back to the top. So this is this particular, these terms of service, this one is down, down, down. So because it's down, when you click this link, it just jumps to that particular place, and if you click here, it jumps back up. This is exactly how hyperlinks are. Now let's just try to understand this, our hyperlinking document a little. Let's understand all the syntaxes. First of all, when you are linking to a file, like I told you, when you are linking to a file that is in the same server with you, you don't need the absolute URL, absolute part, you need the relative part. And you can see about.html, and this is like this because of the fact that this about.html file is saved in the same folder as this particular document that I am viewing right now. Then when you are linking to an external website, look at how you link to an external website. Ahref equal to http://www.google.com. I'm using Google as an example because Google is the most popular kind of website, and target equal to slash blank. By the time you click this link, a new tab is going to be open in your browser, like I already demonstrated. That's what the target equal to blank is. And then this is a text that appears when you click, when that will direct you to click that particular link. You can see it's appearing here, Google search. Yes, that's the text that will appear when you click that particular link, and it will take you there. Okay, now if it's an email protocol, let's say it's an email that you want to send, you see the way the email is there. Now over here, I can change this email to my main tone and my main email address if I want, but I'm not going to put my direct email address so scammers don't just come and use my video to start spamming me. But let's say this is my email address. When this is clicked, when you click a link like this, it launches your default email client. If you click it on a mobile phone like an Android, it will likely launch your Gmail application. Like you can see here, it's asking me, in the case of, in my own case here, it's asking me this question because I have various applications that can be used to send emails here. I have my Google Chrome, I have Outlook, I have Outlook 2016, I have Zoom meetings, I have Microsoft Edge. Each and every one of them can be used to send mail. So if I select any particular one, automatically that particular email will appear as my as the email I'm sending to, and my own personal email address, which is logged into that particular application, will appear as that. I will appear as the one that I'm sending from, and then I can now send the email to that particular link. This is usually useful when you want to give a direct contact, where you want to connect users directly, when you want to connect users directly, when you want users to be able to send an email to you instantly on your website directly. Although most websites these days will make use of forms, we create forms that are sent and packaged finally. We use server-side code to send. But if you're working with pure HTML and you want your users to be able to click a link and send you an email, then you can make use of this particular um, link. And then you have what we have what we call the document bookmark and call link. Like I said, this is a special link. This one is when is to jump to a particular section of the same web page. Yes, of the same web page. You can see this section has an ID equal to terms hyphen conditions. So you refer to it as href equal to hash. You use the hash symbol to refer to IDs. We are going to look at IDs, I think, in the next class, IDs and classes in the next class, but in the CSS perspective. So this hash now, when you click this link, it will jump to this particular section. We put this distance here using CSS style equal to margin top 1000 pixels so that it will create a distance. So when it's clicked, you can actually see it jump. That's why you can see you are not seeing any of this right up terms of service document or anything. But as soon as you click this button, it jumps directly to that particular place. Why? Because that is another section of the document. So if you want to achieve this kind of link, you need to give that particular section of document an ID. Like now the ID here is terms hyphen conditions, and we're hyperlinking to href equal to hash. The hash symbol is used to represent IDs in HTML. Use the hash symbol to represent IDs in HTML. Hash terms hyphen what? Conditions. And when you do that, when the user clicks that, they jump to that particular section of the document. With the help of this now, you are able to build one-page website. You can build a very beautiful website that doesn't require users navigating all the way from one page to another. You can build a very beautiful website that doesn't require users navigating from a page to another. Just a simple website that is elegant and beautiful, but all the information is contained on a single page with the help of this technique. Single page websites are getting more and more popular as the day goes on because people are getting more and more impatient with the internet, because we now have very good internet connection worldwide. People are getting more and more impatient with it, and more are losing their patience with the internet. And so because people are losing their patience with the internet, as the sooner you are able to get users directly to what they want, the faster for you. And that is why this particular type of links are important. So you can build simple websites that are single page applications that when the link is clicked, the user just has to jump straight to that particular section of the document, and it will give the user the information that they require. And have a lovely, this is for hyperlinks, so have a very lovely day.